I'm Allie.
And I'm Becky.
We are registered dietitians that are passionate about food as medicine.
In this video, we are going to be making a clean version of a classic Thanksgiving side green bean casserole.
Yes, so starting with the green beans, these are going to be found in a classic green bean casserole or in our more food as medicine anti-inflammatory option. And green beans themselves do have a lot of health supporting benefits. They're a great source of antioxidants, offering cancer fighting properties with vitamin C and vitamin A. They provide a nice source of fiber, and they have a rich source of vitamin K for bone health as well as vascular and cardiovascular benefits. So instead of using a bag of pre-frozen green beans, what we're gonna do is use fresh, organic, or locally grown green beans, hopefully from our farmer's market, and just trim them up. And so when you get your natural green beans, they're gonna have these stems intact. We're gonna wanna make sure that we take off both ends of our green beans. So I'll kind of line them all up here and trim the tops and the bottoms. And then I'm just gonna cut them in thirds, so they're in about 1.5 to 2 inch pieces here. So get these guys lined up, do a little trim there, and cut these into thirds. What I'm gonna do to make sure that they're the perfect texture for this casserole is blanch them. So blanching is a technique where we are going to put them in boiling water just to soften them. And then we're going to pour them into an ice bath to shock them. This is going to ensure that they are cooked to a perfect texture, but they still retain that nice, bright, green, vibrant color. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the boiling water now.
So where your Aunt Sally's green bean casserole goes wrong is with that Campbell's cream of mushroom soup. Let's take a look at the ingredient label. We're starting with a hefty dose of, beyond just the mushrooms that are in it and the cream, which are real foods, we go into a hefty dose of vegetable oil. And they can't actually even tell us if it's corn or canola or another inflammatory oil. And then we see wheat, we see other corn derivatives, and we see soy in here, as well as MSG, which is a neurological disruptor.
Yes, so we'll teach you in a moment how to do a revised cream of mushroom base with oyster mushrooms, which are really fun to work with. But the other wrong turn with a green bean casserole is those French's onions that give it that nice crunch. So here we have a 1/2 cup of almond flour. I'm just going to add a teaspoon of mineral sea salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper in there. And we're just going to, once we mix that, take our thinly sliced onions and just do a dry dredge. So we're just going to literally allow the moisture of the onions to make contact, and these are going to be seared in a cast iron. Much less inflammatory. The French's are going to have palm oil, wheat flour, and dextrose as those ingredients that we want to avoid. So we have the dry dredge done on the onions. I'm going to smash and mince 3 garlic cloves, which will go into our cream of mushroom soup. And we're probably ready now, about 4 or 5 minutes in of boiling those green beans, to strain them and shock them in the ice bath.
And just run them through a strainer. Oh yeah, so you want that kind of vibrant green color to be happening. Strain. And then I've already prepared just some cold water with ice here, and I'm gonna dump them right on in. And I'll save that strainer, let them kind of chill in there for a couple minutes while we get everything else ready. So instead of that can of soup, we're using real food ingredients here. I'm going to use about a 1/2 cup of bone broth. This is the fond with the sage, thyme, and rosemary, so kind of a perfect marriage of Thanksgiving flavor there. But you can also just use homemade bone broth or your favorite store-bought option. We've got a couple of great recipes on making bone broth and also on whether store-bought bone broth is legit for you to check out. There's the bone broth, and then I'm also doing a 1/2 cup of heavy cream in here. And I'll just mix these liquids together. So that replaces our can of cream of mushroom soup. And then of course we need the real deal mushroom.
Yes.
And this is a beautiful oyster mushroom. You could really select any variety of mushrooms I think would work nicely.
Yes, so you could go cremini mushroom if you want more of a robust flavor profile. The oyster mushrooms are really nice because they're quite delicate in flavor. So for individuals that don't love mushrooms, you still get the benefits of the beta glucans and those binding, detoxifying fibers as well as immune modulating properties without as much of a distinctive mushroom flavor profile.
Yeah, we're gonna chop them up pretty small in here too, so they won't be, able to be picked out by picky eaters.
All right, so I have my large cast iron pan with 3 tablespoons of avocado oil heated, and I'm gonna go ahead and add in these dry dredged onions. So over here, I've gone ahead and melted 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter over medium heat. I'm adding in our 3 cloves of chopped garlic, and I'm adding in the chopped mushrooms. Give that a quick stir, and then just let them make contact and brown.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let that liquid reduce by about half, bringing it to a simmer. Then I'll start adding in the Parmesan cheese. Once that cheese has melted, I'm gonna go ahead and add in our green beans and mix it all together. Okay, once that's all nice and tossed and coated, I'm just gonna pour this into a pan for baking. And we'll top it off with the onions and an additional sprinkle of Parmesan cheese.
We're gonna pop this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes to let all those flavors meld and allow that cheese to bind the casserole together. All right, so we pulled the green bean casserole out of the oven at 15 minutes and all of the flavors have been able to meld. So you can see it's thickened up quite a lot. This is a great dish that you can make the day before Thanksgiving and allow those flavors to further meld and then just pop it in the oven to reheat it the day of. Save some oven space and time and one thing to check off your list.
Let's give it a taste.
All right. I'm such a fan of blanching those green beans. It allows such a nice still crunchy texture as opposed to, who was it? Aunt Sally, did you say? With the mushy green bean casserole.
Yeah. You've got some crunch from the onions. I really like the Parmesan cheese in there and that mushroom Parmesan combo. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the Naturally Nourished YouTube channel, and leave us a comment below whether you've tried this dish or what your favorite Thanksgiving classic to redo is.
So those are all dry dredged, ready to go. I'm going to